You are now watching my digital time capsule, and this capsule was started because I wanted to compare how I would feel after this president decided to do what he said he was going to do tonight to Iran. But here's the thing, we can never trust anything that he's saying because at 5:49 p.m., I am now finding out that he agreed to the ceasefire that was pushed by Pakistan, basically urging the United States and Iran to agree to a 2-week ceasefire, supposedly to negotiate not destroying the entire country of Iran. And what I want y'all to get is that I am tired of my stress levels going up and down all of the time. It genuinely is just like we are talking about such serious topics. Let's get off of social media. Let's handle these conversations like we're adults, like y'all run in a whole government, a whole country, and let the information come out in the proper channels of the announcements that people like me who are just trying to make it through their day at work can actually do that without the fear that all of the people in a country, their entire existence would be eradicated. Please and thank you.
So we have a 2-week ceasefire. We will see how it goes, but I am reserving judgment for now on whether this is going to be durable even for the 2 weeks that it's supposed to be. Apparently, Pakistan has been instrumental in getting this over the finish line, at least even temporarily. I don't think that Donald Trump has enough impulse control to stop himself from attacking if that's what he thinks is going to get him what he wants. You're going to see both the United States and Iran framing this as a win. You're going to see Iran saying, look, Trump bent the knee and this is the United States caving. And you're going to also see Trump and his supporters saying, look, Iran is reopening the Strait of Hormuz. We're getting what we wanted. Both of them are going to make the case to their followers that they're the victors in this. And both of them are going to have detractors who are saying, no, in fact, it was the other one that won. Expect a lot more propaganda videos to come out. In the meantime, those Lego ones with the rap diss tracks, basically. And expect a lot of bombast in the statements from political leaders in the United States.
So the United States and Iran has agreed to a ceasefire deal. Okay, Wigs R Us caved first, all right? The 10-point plan that Iran put out against the United States to end this war, they said Wigs R Us agreed to it, but I don't think he agreed to it just yet. Ain't been no confirmation. But I will tell you this. Benjamin Netanyahu, the UAE and Saudi Arabia and Lindsey Graham's people said do not agree to the ceasefire. Do not do it. And honestly, I feel like something sneaky is about to happen. I feel like Iran is celebrating right now, and they should, because Trump backed down. But I feel like once the Strait of Hormuz is open, he gonna start acting stupid again. I think he's doing this to quiet people because he already knows that, hell, 70-something Congress members wanted the 25th Amendment because they say he fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay? There are already people on his side saying, hey man, you may want to back the fuck up because shit's looking real kind of bad for us. I don't believe he's going to stand on business when it comes to this ceasefire. I don't. I have no faith in this man not to do something erratic and fuck shit up. But the stock market is about to look good. Gas prices may go down for a bit because right now they're $111 a barrel, bitch. But we gonna see. Let's just see how this shit goes.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like and also comment. From threats, from giving the deadlines up to now the extension, we have been seeing Trump giving Iran a lot of threats, but this time round he was forced to have ceasefire with Iran for only 2 weeks. Majority of people, they have been asking 2 weeks for what? So guys, just to continue watching these videos until the end, then I will come back with more comments. This video, it has been made because of education purposes.
Iran and America have entered into a 2-week ceasefire, pending that the Strait of Hormuz opens up immediately, per Trump's crazy rant on Truth Social. This is exactly what I thought he would do. I thought he was acting like the big bad guy and the big bad president, saying that he would eradicate Iran from the face of the earth, threatening basically a nuclear bomb being sent on them like Hiroshima, because what other way could he destroy the entire country of Iran? In the 8th hour, when there was less than an hour away from him giving his deadline, he announced that they agreed upon a ceasefire. The Pakistani prime minister was the one who negotiated the deal, and Iran saying that the Strait of Hormuz will be open for 2 weeks and they will only allow ships to go through per their military and their safe passage. Now, Israel has also said that they're going to be a part of this ceasefire, but what we've seen in the past 4 years with Israel is that they don't respect anything. They don't respect any treaties, any laws, any ceasefire. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. I think it's so rich from America saying that Iran is the Islamic Republic and they are jihadists and they are radical Islamists. But at the same time, you have Trump trying to appeal and appease to the Christian nationalist evangelical Christians, saying God is good and God wants this war.
You've said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this war?
I do, because
And have you
God
sought
is
his
good,
direction?
because God is good, and God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like what's happening.
You have Pete Hegseth trying to compare the fighter that was stranded to Jesus and the resurrection.
Shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday.
This shit is crazy. We are being ran by religious fanatics who are cult-like and who are literally spiraling our country into a state of impending doom. That's what's happening in America. This is not the first time that a deadline has been suggested and then pushed back, suggested and pushed back. During this whole conflict, Trump has been flip-flopping on his threats to Iran, which is, I think, why they're like, well, we're going to fight back. You're not going to just tell us what to do, and your threats are kind of idle, but they're not, but they are. This comes on the heels of the Pope, the actual Pope of the Catholic Church, criticizing Trump, saying that what America's doing is war crimes and it is not holy. Several officials, several countries, and several government officials calling for invoke the 25th Amendment. So there's a lot going on and a lot of moving parts that make sense that this is the only thing he would do, which is give in to a normal human being should, to actually negotiate a deal with the war that he started. You know, like, it's all crazy. And we have to remember that while this is happening, Israel has been bombing Iran's infrastructure, their bridges, their universities, their tunnels. And in war, you're supposed to attack military targets. You are not supposed to attack infrastructure, schools, civilians, but we know that that's what they are known for. So I don't know what this is going to look like, because Trump is saying and Israel is saying the ceasefire is only on as long as the Strait of Hormuz opens, and Iran is like, yeah, but we have to control the Strait of Hormuz. All I know is that tonight there will not be any nuclear weapons or anything dropped on Iran, and there will be no civilians killed unnecessarily. So we say. Everything with this government is up in the air, because we live in a very fucking testy-ass time with a pubescent boy who is the president. That's my update.
Breaking fucking news. Your president, Donald J. Trump, has just decided to call for a 2-week ceasefire. See, this is a constant state of making people panic and making people fear, and then bluff getting called. But my thing is this: if we can do a 2-week ceasefire, why can we not just end the war? What specifically is the reason why we are continuing this war that we cannot afford with Iran, and we're just putting it on 2 weeks? Do you guys know that even though the ceasefire is 2 weeks, do you think that Trump's just going to call everybody back home and then send them back out? No, they're still out there. And for every second that they're still out there, they're spending taxpayer dollars to fund the war. The 2-week ceasefire doesn't mean we stop paying for the war. It actually means we're paying for nothing. Quite in fact, it's actually money laundering. Because we're paying for these machines to still be running. We're paying for these machines to still fly. We're paying for these military soldiers to still be deployed, but they're not fighting. They're not in war. They're not in conflict. Granted, thank God. That means lives are being saved. Why can't we just end the war then? Why can't we just end the war? Why are we putting it on pause, and why are we still being charged for the pause? The economy isn't going to get better because the ceasefire happened for 2 weeks. These are like dominoes. You're not going to see the effect of that 2-week ceasefire until a month from now. Just like you won't see the effects from what this war has done for months later. Y'all don't understand. So keep thinking that because we have this 2-week ceasefire, Trump just yesterday said that he was going to wipe out entire civilization. Now, as of 2 hours ago, he's now saying that we have a 2-week ceasefire. At any moment, what if he just says, fuck the ceasefire? And I'm not stressing myself out, no.
Just a few minutes ago, the guy in the White House posted this on Truth Social based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. There's going to be some people that comment, oh my God, Taco, Trump always chickens out. He's not going to actually go through with wiping out this civilization. Please keep those comments to yourself. And honestly, I don't believe this ceasefire until I see other media reporting it, specifically media that is not U.S. media that carries water for war criminals. But the guy in the White House is saying that there is going to be a 2-sided ceasefire. Now, we all see how the U.S. and their proxies act when there's ceasefires. They continue to bomb, pillage, and kill. But as of now, the United States is saying that there's a ceasefire. Expect the stock market to react wildly. I'm sure the future's already going zoop, and his billionaire buddies are going to profit more and more and more and more and more. And at the end of this 2 weeks, we'll see what happens. But as of now, the United States is announcing a ceasefire, and I have not seen anything from Iranian media confirming it as of yet.
Once again, Trump backs down. Per usual, this man backs down. He has agreed to suspend any bombings to Iran for 2 weeks. Something told me deep down inside, this man can't be this crazy. And it's becoming, baby, it's becoming to this. I don't know how to get myself out of this. I created this mess, but now I don't know what to do. I'm a threat until I can't threat anymore. Then I'm going to bag out because, again, I don't know how to get myself out of this. This is what it is. The back and forth, the back and forth. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take it. This man has got to go down as the worst, with all capital letters. The worst president in U.S. president history. Baby, we knew you wasn't going to do that. You're not that stupid. You're not. So yeah, 2 weeks. Now, here's the kicker though. I don't know if Iran if they have agreed to anything. But once again, typical Trump, he's all this. Yep. I'm a threat. He backed down.
Girl, it's 5:39. I'm looking at my phone right now, and I see they're saying that Trump just said he's going to postpone the bombing of Iran's infrastructure. Wait, bitch, hold on. This is breaking news, like right the fuck now. This is what's happening. Trump posted on his Truth Social that he's going to postpone the bombing of Iran for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks? But this is the same man who just this morning was saying that their whole civilization was about to end tonight. The whole civilization was going to end. 8 p.m. was going to die tonight. And now Again, we're moving the timeline. We're pushing the goalposts every time. Before we start looking at this as a win, let's dissect what's actually going on right now and why this is even happening. So we know that ever since Iran closed down the Strait of Hormuz, our gas has gone up. Everybody trying to buy gas is gone up. The prices on the barrel are 100 to 120 per barrel, okay? We are suffering for it because of the decisions of this man. And so he knows it, and he's being pressurized, bitch, by all his allies and non-allies, everybody around the world. So he thought that he could bully Iran into opening up the strait, right? We saw it on the Twitters, we saw it on the X, we saw it on the Truth Social. He was like, y'all better open. Like, he ain't got no boom behind him, though. No power behind him, no strength behind them words, just a bunch of bark. Iran said, we lost the keys. We don't know where the keys at. So Trump has been setting deadlines for them to reopen the strait ever since. Just repeatedly saying, by tonight, by this week, by tomorrow morning, by 8 p.m. And now in 2 weeks. And clock this because it's important, okay? March 26th, Trump put out a 10-day deadline for Iran to open the strait. They did not move. The deadline passed and the deadline got extended. Then this past Easter weekend, okay? He posts on Easter Sunday on his Truth Social, open the fucking strait. Right now, bitches, just open it. You crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Praise be to Allah. Then, bitch, he set a new deadline. Tuesday, today, 8 p.m. The whole civilization will die tonight. The whole civilization will die tonight. God bless the people of Iran. And now, a few hours later, 2 weeks, we're extending it by 2 weeks. We're moving again. Another deadline extended. So, bitch, here's what really happened. Pakistan's prime minister, they called Trump up and said, you know what? Give us 2 weeks. Diplomacy's at work. Give us 2 weeks. Just pause. Chill out for a little bit. And bitch, Trump said, okay. He said, okay, here's 2 weeks. I need y'all to understand what's happening because Iran did not open the strait. They did not agree to a temporary ceasefire. And they did not back down. But what they did do was send a 10-point proposal. A counter proposal to the one that the U.S. and Israel sent them, to demand a permanent end to the war, not a pause. And they want reparations for war damages. They want sanctions lifted, and they want a safe passage protocol for the Strait of Hormuz. So, Iran's foreign ministry literally said, and I need y'all to hear this when I say it, okay? Negotiations are in no way compatible with ultimatums, crime, or the threat to commit war crimes. So what we're watching is Trump flinching. So the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Gas prices are still out of this world. Iran is still standing, and people are forming human chains around their power plants and infrastructures to stop the bombing, to appeal to some sense of empathy that these morally corrupt people don't have, but we see the vision. And thanks to diplomacy and pressure applied by Pakistan, the foreign minister, Trump moves the deadline yet again. This is his pattern. He sets a deadline. He escalates all the rhetoric around it, talking about, if they don't, I'm going to bring down the hammer. Then somebody steps in to mediate, and he's like, a win is a win. I did that. I'm fantastic. I'm great. I'm the best. And Iran keeps saying the same thing. They want the war to end permanently, not a pause. Because they know what the difference between a ceasefire and the end of a war is. They saw what happened with Gaza, and they said they're not falling for it.
So yesterday while I was recording my video, I was making the point that Donald Trump was going to tackle, right? Trump always chicken out. And so that's exactly what happened. And I found out about it maybe about 5 minutes after I had already posted my video. So let's recap on what really happened yesterday, because there's a lot of confusion here. You have to go back to the Operation Epic Rescue. Remember when they told us that they were going to rescue a pilot? That is when everything started. You have to understand one thing with Donald Trump. When he is stuck and he knows that he cannot accomplish something, he upped the ante. He tried to bring things to the most extreme level. We saw him doing this with China. Remember when they were going through the tariffs? And at one point in time, he was so frustrated, seeing China fighting back, that he went all the way to 250% tariff against China. And China was like, you know what, I'm not even wasting my time on that anymore. And then he all of a sudden announced that, well, there's a truce, they are negotiating and they are going to bring down all the tariffs. The second time he did this was with Vladimir Putin. Remember when he gave Vladimir Putin an ultimatum? This is like a 2 weeks ultimatum. He told him if Vladimir Putin does not come in and make a deal, that he was going to sanctions and sell weapons to Ukraine and all of that stuff. Then, I think it was maybe a day or 2 days prior to that, he announced that he's going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and that's when they met in Alaska. When everybody was waiting that, oh, well, Donald Trump is finally going to come over and, arm Ukraine. He ended up scheduling a meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. That is because he knew that he was stuck. He couldn't do it. Now he repeats the same thing with Iran. During Operation Epic Rescue, it is during that time that they realized that they could not bring troops in Iran. Their idea was that they were going to use this opportunity to lie to everybody that they are going to rescue this pilot. They prepare all these jets, all these troops that were going to land in Iran and take the place, right? Kill everyone and then, start sending other troops. That's the reason why you saw a lot of troops going to that region, right? Because that was their plan. Like, okay, once we land there, we are going to invite thousands of troops and then we're going to take over. Iran said that they were going there to take the nuclear material. I don't believe that, right? I don't think that for Donald Trump, taking nuclear material is more important than opening the Strait of Hormuz. It is the Strait of Hormuz that is giving Iran more leverage than nuclear material. They don't care about that nuclear material. They were planning on going there and take over. And so when they landed there and they saw the response of Iran, it was a miserable failure for the U.S., right? They lost soldiers. It was casualties. Don't allow them to lie to you. It was casualties. They lost, a lot of equipment. We're talking about jets and all that. Then they came out and they talked about, yeah, we rescued the pilot and all that. The pilot was probably even unalive. Who knows? There's also a possibility that there were probably no pilots there. But they knew what they were doing. So they came out and said, look, we had this great, rescue and all that, but we never saw who they rescued. After this failed operation, they regrouped. What happened then is they sat down with Israel, because Israel is also desperate on, stopping Iran from just hitting them. And both the U.S. and Israel realizing that they really didn't accomplish anything, because like I told you, they're not bombing military sites. All military equipment are buried deep underground, right? In a huge underground city. That's where everything is. So they're not bombing anything that has to do with military. All that stuff they're talking about, they have no Air Force. They have no this. All of that is complete propaganda. Modern war does not need all that stuff. Iran's equipment are in hiding, whether it's in the sea, whether it's in the country, you name it. This is modern war. Aircraft carriers are vulnerable, right? All these things about, flying jets and, Air Force and all that, that's vulnerable. Modern war is about drones and missiles. That's how it is. So the things that the U.S. are talking about are things that they cannot even verify, because Iran doesn't need an Air Force. They don't need all of that stuff. They have the necessary drones, missiles, air defense system. That's it. And all of that, the United States is not able to touch. So they made the decision that they were going to pull out. Now, when they finally announced that, the Prime Minister of Pakistan called Donald Trump, say, look, and this is at the last minute. Usually, Donald Trump stuff is always at the last minute. They call him at the last minute and say, Iran is saying that if you take this and they are going to agree on a ceasefire, right? In reality, the Pakistani Prime Minister never called Donald Trump. The 10-point proposal that we're talking about was given to the United States, right, by Pakistan last week when Donald Trump proposed his 15-point. He sent his 15-point ceasefire to the Pakistanis so they can give it to Iran. Iran said it is not acceptable. It is at that time that Iran gave them that 10-point ceasefire. Because Donald Trump is looking for a way out, when they decided after the failed mission, where they were trying to, so-called rescue a pilot, they started looking for an off-ramp. They then picked up that 10-point proposal. They told them, they said, look, the only way, in order for you not to get out humiliated, use this 10-point proposal to get out of this conflict. That's why Donald Trump upped the ante. Remember what I told you? He did that with China and he did that with Russia. When he gets to the point where he knows that it is over, that he's going to get out or he's going to cave, he's going to tackle, right? It is then that he's going to up the ante. And that's when you heard him say, we are going to end the Iranian civilization and all of that, right? Talking all that nonsense. He always does that when he, because he's like, okay, since I'm going to get out, let me go in there and do one last try to go so extreme to make people think that I'm actually going to do it. But in reality, it's because I know that I'm going to get out. So I'm not going to lose anything. That's why he had everybody on edge. So what happened last night is that when we were getting close to the 8 p.m. mark, he went ahead and called the Pakistani prime minister and told him, look, we're going to act as though you are the one who called me with this 10-point proposal. And I'm going to act like, it is Iran that is begging so that, we can finally have an offering. That is exactly what happened, because there is no way possible that the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have called Donald Trump to give him the same proposal that Donald Trump had already rejected a week ago with nothing new. And Donald Trump then acting as though it was a new proposal that, Iran was begging, right? He then, come out and say, okay, we accept this. Now we're going to head to peace. The ceasefire is in place. And then they come out this morning and announce to the public, start thanking everybody, thanking the troops and all that. Yeah, you guys fought very well and all of that. They were prepared for this exit. They knew that there is nothing else to do. You have the economic situation getting worse. The army that cannot enter Iran after all the casualties that they lost during this epic so-called rescue of a pilot. You have them shooting missiles to civilian areas because they cannot reach any military equipment, everything being buried underground. So they're doing nothing other than destroying civilians' facilities and killing civilians. And so they know that continuing this fight doesn't bring them anywhere. They've already unalived leaders of Iran, but yet everything remained the same. So because of this, knowing that they fell miserably, knowing that the world is going to talk about it, that's why you saw Israel bombing Lebanon the way that they did today. Because they are also desperate to have a ceasefire, but at the same time, they don't want to look weak. So therefore, they have to bully someone. That's why they're bullying Lebanon. They are desperate. They lost. Everybody know they lost. Donald Trump, he found his way out because he's not coming back to this. Oh no. Look, he knows very well that there's nothing they're doing. That's why they started thanking everyone and saying, look, they're going home. For him, coming back to this is going to be a disaster. So he's going to get out of it, like they've already gotten out, and then trying to convince Israel to stop, because now Iran is saying that the ceasefire is for everyone. It's not just for Iran and the United States. It is also for Lebanon. Iran has now closed the Strait of Hormuz, saying, since Israel does not stop, we will continue. And tonight, Iran will deliver a major blow to Israel. So Iran is doing a very good job on putting pressure now on Israel, because everything is on Israel. Look, the Strait of Hormuz is muddy. Economics. It needs to be reopened so they can make money. Right? Donald Trump is saying, well, Lebanon, the ceasefire was not included. But even the Prime Minister for Pakistan is coming and saying, no, it was included. Because everybody is sick and tired of this. Right? For the Prime Minister of Pakistan is like, look, it's better to put pressure on Donald Trump and Israel now because they've lost. They have nothing left. So it's better to put pressure on them than to try to go against Iran to say, well, actually, Lebanon was... No, so the guy came and said, look, it was included. Now the ball is on Israel's court. The question is now, will they continue to bomb Lebanon, knowing that it is the war between Israel and Lebanon, that will continue to close the Strait of Hormuz. As of now, this war will continue between Iran and Israel. The United States is not going to take part in this war again because they find their way out.
I was trying to be optimistic, but I really don't think this ceasefire can last. And here's why. I said it a few weeks ago in a panel with some former intelligence officers that Israel and the United States have divergent foreign policy objectives and divergent visions for Iran. Israel wants total state collapse. The U.S. wants regime change. The CIA guy next to me said, no, I don't think Israel wants total state collapse. Instability in the region doesn't benefit Israel. Everybody in the room looked at him like, huh? He was retired. Maybe his information was outdated. I think he was wrong, and I think that's increasingly becoming more clear right now. As long as Israel and the United States are not on the same page about what they want, a ceasefire will never be durable. Never, ever. Because they might agree to something, and then if that agreement between the United States and Iran does not benefit Israel, Israel is going to bomb, and then the ceasefire is broken. If the United States and Iran try to come to some kind of an agreement that would be mutually beneficial, Israel is always going to undermine that. And that's because Israel and the United States just want different things for Iran. Their goals clearly are different, and they are going to always remain different unless and until such time that one or both countries undergo a serious regime change of their own.
Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you have just watched that full message from the Black Americans really reacted towards this 2-week ceasefire agreement between Iran and United States. And Donald Trump was really forced to have this ceasefire. Trump was really forced because from threatens Donald Trump has been really threatening so much Iran and also giving the deadline, but also we saw before that deadline expired, he came out and agreed with the ceasefire, but majority of black people, they have come up asking, what if this negotiation failed after 2 weeks? What will it happen in between 2 weeks? What we will expect from this ceasefire? And the president of Iran was in the forefront of really having this agreement to come across because Iran really believes in diplomatic and believes in negotiations. But Donald Trump do not believe on that, but Trump believe in a force with a lot of threats, and that's why this thing it has just take a long time to be solved. Now Iran president really come in and have this discussion, and all went successful to post this strike for the next 2 weeks. So the entire world is watching. So guys, I want to hear your thoughts in comment section about this agreement Iran it has taken with United States. I'm your host Edwin's J-Ray Reaction. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe for more reaction.